All right. Won't let me go live on. Let's remove that one. Cool. All right. So for some reason, I can't go live on LinkedIn today, but that's all good. The connection did not work. But we are live right now on Facebook, on a couple of YouTube channels, on Twitch, on Twitter. What's up? So this one will be a fun one. This is a provocative title for sure, but I want to explain why. So, I did a video a little while back on DeFi, and for the last year and a half, it actually probably goes back 2.5 years. I was looking at Peace LK. Thank you for popping in, Kino. Certainly appreciate y'all saying hello. When you come in here, this is 100% free. I try to bring real value. So I certainly appreciate, number one, when you say hello, because right now you're in my house. Well, who walks into somebody's house without saying peace, hello, what up, how you doing? And then I'll also just ask that you hit the like button. Those two things. That's not a high price. Not a high price. And like I say on my channel, we save money. We don't save up likes. Give out the likes all day long, make it rain likes. But we like to invest money. We can't get a good ROI. Can't get a good ROI on those likes. Ernesto, thank you for popping in. All right, so let's jump in. Feel free to put any questions or anything into the chat. So a couple weeks, maybe a week ago, I did a video on DeFi. Crypto's been something obviously I've been interested in for a really long time, and lots of stories there, just of my experience in crypto, ups and downs, and even partner with some folks that were creating a coin, lost somebody, or that they were creating a coin, lost somebody there. So it's been a real investment. And we're on a Dealmakers Institute call, and I was talking about my process of spending a lot of money to get around people that are influencers in the space that have been around for a long time, so that I could kind of suck up as much as I could from them. And it's interesting. As soon as I did that, I've been hit by so many people that they just want to tip, and they want to know, okay, what should I be buying? What tip can you give me on what I can buy today? And I think it's really short-sighted. It's there's especially when there's a huge opportunity over the next 30 years in crypto. It's like very short-sighted just to look for today and say, okay, what should I be buying today? And in a lot of cases, we're in and out of stuff. We're doing just a lot of different things just based on, basically things can completely change based on the chart tomorrow. So even if I tell you something today, there's not a lot of value in that. As much as I would, I have hit people back like, hey, here's what I'm doing as of right now, but I can't, update you every time I make a single change. And so I think it's interesting when you consider something like Psychic RAM, and this is something I've talked about before. Psychic RAM is kind of all of the unconscious things that go on when you're trying to make a decision. So when I'm getting around people in crypto, I'm not so much trying to get a tip or get some information. I don't want what they're going to tell me on the surface. I don't even, I'll get the information. We're going to have a conversation, but I'm trying to pick apart and I'm trying to download into my subconscious the way that they're thinking. And I think this is what a lot of people miss, like even with a Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett spends about 80% of his time reading, whether it's reading books, reading old prospectuses, reading new prospectuses, every quarterly report that comes out. Like he's just filling his brain with all this stuff. And, while they say that, 10% of our brain is like we consciously use, like the 90% is where the genius is. And this is, why when it comes to a Warren Buffett, the reason that there, as much as he's written, he's an open book, as much as he's taught, as much as he's been interviewed, as much as tips and blah, 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 why there aren't 1,000 Warren Buffetts out there. The reason is really simple, is that when he's making a decision, it's not based on the tips that he's even aware of. And this is the kind of interesting thing. It's not that anybody's necessarily trying to trick you. Even in the sub description on YouTube, it's like a lot of gurus won't tell you this, but it's because they don't even know it. But it's basically like an athlete at the end of a game. And they're like, man, like, how did you do that move? They don't really even know how they did it, but when they're asked, they're going to give you an answer. They're going to say, oh, well, I just took the ball and then I did this and then I set it up. But there are, a billion calculations in the subconscious that they were taking in things about what the defender was doing, how the defender's leg was turned the other way. So they knew they shouldn't go this way. They should go there. And it's like a billion of these things. And so you have this supercomputer. This is probably the most frustrating thing for me. And it really boils down to, what's the tip or what's the type of business I should buy today, or, the things I talk about here. It's that, man, you've got this supercomputer. Like, you can download way more than what's the tip for today. Like, you have an opportunity to really build this thing into this just money printing, making it rain all the time machine. But it's almost like you've got a supercomputer and you want to use the heat to warm up your bread rather than use the supercomputer. Like, you're using it for the most minuscule thing possible. And it's a waste, literally, of an opportunity. And so it's interesting when you look at the people that do try to give tips. You look at a Warren Buffett, he doesn't tell you like, oh, like, well, I guess also I've been spending 8 hours a day reading for the last 60 years. And so I'm making decisions based on that. And so maybe like maybe it's a bad thing for me to give you the tips that I'm giving you because I don't even know. I'm unaware of because all of that is in my subconscious. I don't know what I don't know. And this has been really cool in the private equity fund incubator, because there are a lot of things even for me that I just didn't know, that I was unconscious of. And it's been so brilliant. It's been so cool. Now we're on PEFI 5, and it's been really cool. Like, this is an all-female crew right now. And there's a different set of questions that come there, and it's bringing up different things for me that my subconscious literally knew, but until I was asked, wouldn't give me an answer until I was asked that specific thing. But it just came from years and years of experience that it was downloaded like, oh, okay, this is the way we need to do this. And so the supercomputer that we all have in our head was making those decisions. And that's been my career from the very beginning. Like, it started to make me, it was one of the things I've talked about. The most important, business influence of my life. Like, my parents are my most important influence, but my most important business influence was Mike Aiken, a guy who flipped hospitals. And, it was one of the things that he was just like, man, the one benefit to you coming is you ask things that I've never even thought about, that I didn't even realize I knew the answer to. But it was because he had done deals, all over the world, all this stuff. So I think one of the things that people are missing is the benefit of getting around it. So, when I look at the private equity fund incubator, the reason that I'm designing more programs now where it's, let's go and just do things together. Let's not just have me teach you something. Let's not just, you go and you buy some videos. And I get hit like all the time. I could sell a bunch of courses and not and just take the money, and just like a lot of gurus do. But the biggest downside there is you're getting just the highlights. I liken it to that that sports analogy where you've got somebody, they just finished, or even like if you look at the highlights. So let's take like a video course. You've got somebody who's spent 10 years in something, and then they put together a 20 video course, hour long each, and all these, documents and all this stuff. Well, that's literally the equivalent of at the end of a basketball game, you watching the highlights. And you've got maybe 10 points that were scored during the highlights, but the ending score was there are 200 points between the two teams, 100 points each. And you've got those highlights, and now you're going to go out and gonna become a basketball player. Like, it doesn't make sense. You don't have the 10 years that they played when they started at 5 playing in little league, and then the 3 years in AAU, and all every day the practice, like the hours upon hours, and that one thing that they learned from a coach in AAU and at 18 is a crucial point. And that other little thing that they got from the college, it's like a million little things. And so unless you're going through the experience with someone, most of that stuff is a waste of time. So let's get into just that title, and then I want to chat about a couple other things, and then I'll answer some of y'all's questions. So when you look at your life and like what you're trying to do now, one of the things that's interesting to me is that 90% of your time has been wasted. If you look at everything that you just take school, like how much of school is valuable. You're made to do these things and learn these things that you have not even if it's valuable. Now, you've totally forgotten it. Maybe it was valuable, but like you've forgotten all of it. And so all of that stuff is a complete waste. Especially when you look at the opportunity to build your supercomputer, when you look at the opportunity to increase the capabilities that are inside of your psychic RAM. When you compare those two things and you look at, okay, what are all the things I'm doing in my life? Like, how much time am I spending on social media? How much time am I spending in a job that's a dead end? How much time am I spending with friends that I don't really like? How much time am I trying to impress people thinking about impressing people on the internet who care nothing about me? Like, the average person is wasting literally 90% of their time. And then the really sad thing is some of that includes doing things that aren't even fun. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of the wasted time is, double when you buy a course that either is in the vein of what I just explained, where you're just not going to be able to do what's advertised, just because you don't have everything that's the real stuff that's in that psychic realm. And I am curious if that is making sense, this concept of the importance of the psychic realm and what's going on there. But you're reading a book or you're going through a course, and it is this highlight reel, number one, and then you're not even putting it to use. And so you spent money, which represents the time that you were working for that money. So you lost that. You lose the time that you're investing, because you're not going to get a return on that, and it wasn't even fun or anything. And so it's like, it's such a huge waste. And it goes back to even being able to ask the right questions. Like, sometimes I get asked things, and it's like, even we can take the just because we talked a little bit, and I think you can understand it from that perspective, like the trading tip. What's the trading tip? And what that represents is you don't have enough psychic RAM yet to even know that that's not a good question to ask, that you don't even want that. Anybody who trades in the stock market knows, like, it does, like, that's not what's going to really benefit you. it's like having a psychic ram that's so anorexic that it can't see that that's a terrible question. Let me see. I thought those messages would stop, but they're not. Oh, stop that. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. We got some questions. We took a little break for a sec. All right, we got Ernesto. Thanks for the chats and value you bring to the group. I certainly appreciate when y'all pop in. It's a lot of fun for me. Like I said, even questions, whether it's in Dealmakers Institute, whether it's in PEFI, or whether it's here, Facebook, whatever. It's beneficial for me as well because a lot of those things that I'm learning or that my psychic ram is learning. I think the other interesting thing from that whole perspective is, you think about how your heart beats. Your psychic ram is in control of that. And so you basically are you're not in control of it. Like you have literally no control. And even somebody could ask you the question, you know, um, how does your heart beat? And if you're a doctor or whatever, you can, say, oh, well, this part of the brain is triggering this thing and it's releasing this chemical and da da da, whatever, however it works. And you could explain that, but that doesn't, when somebody explains that to you, it doesn't mean that you're going to be able to make your heartbeat. Like that's still in there. And so just like 99% of what happens in your body, 99% of your decisions aren't this like in that little 10% of consciousness. It's a lot of that information is automatic. When Warren Buffett looks at a deal, he has a billion things that are happening that he could never come close to explaining to you. And so your best bet is to get around somebody like that. And so, I spend a lot of money traveling and trying to get into rooms with people that have done, are doing, at the top of their game in whatever space I'm interested in. And I think that's the most valuable thing that you can do is like getting ongoing time, not a one-time thing with somebody. Uh, the other part that I think is interesting is when you're also be sure to hit the like button, by the way. So the thing that I really love about all this is that it shows you can learn anything. Like you're capable but it's valuing those kind of subconscious experiences that you learn from in a way that's deeper than some surface tips or even what the person may be aware to teach you. All right. Professor Left, what's up? Welcome to the live. He says, a like and a comment for future billionaire knowledge. It's a good deal, man. I try to, I always tell people, even when I'm negotiating with a seller, I won't close a deal if they don't say it's a win-win. So trying to make this a win-win, just a little like and a little comment. And I'll do my best to bring some value and do something that a lot of people aren't talking about. It's like I could come on here and talk about the same stuff over and over, but hey, and after 500 videos that I've given y'all for free, it becomes, that's why I wait in between them a lot of times. Like, okay, like what's something that I'm learning like right now, or perspective that I'm gaining right now. Duval, thanks for popping in. Cliff notes, baby. That's all those things are. So all you're getting are the cliff notes. Like that's all someone can give you unless you're really spending some time with them. Montrell, what's up, homie? Thank you so much. Thanks for the comment. Thanks for popping in. Keto triathlete, man, you just that name. If you're both a triathlete and you're doing keto, props to you, man. Props to you. I last year for a little while I did keto. I have not tried to do become a triathlete, but I do love the bike. The swimming would get me. The swimming, I could probably pull off. I could pull off the run. I could pull off the cycling, but yeah, the swimming and the fact that, like, if I get tired of running, like, I can just stop. If you get tired of swimming, you're gonna drown. So first of all, kudos to you, mad props and respect. And it looks like you got a trophy on your thing. So not only are you doing it, but you're doing it big. All right. He asks any events you plan going to see values going to this year next. All right. So as about events this year and next year. Yes, there are a few events. I actually just got off a call today though, and we're going to do a deal makers weekend in January, so that's exciting. Where I've got another event called Hustle for Equity that's coming up in November. I'll put up some posts with links to those. And then what I recommend and what I spend a lot of time doing is, I was just in Mexico and I did this. So I have a friend of a friend, it's really getting targeted, asking my network, hey, as I was getting deeper into crypto, hey, who do you have in your network that is deep in crypto and how can I connect with them? And came across one person just done some massive things. He's very, very like never mentioned my name, never mentioned anything about me. He's very secretive about who he is and kind of what he's done. But brilliant person, just one of those like next level smart folks. And I literally went to Mexico, rented, it's like, hey, I know you're in Mexico, no pressure. I'm gonna come, I'm gonna hang out. If you feel like coffee sometime, I'll be around. And I just, kind of hit him and was like, I'm busy, no time. And afterwards, like, all right, we can grab coffee. And so, it was spent some time together, and I, literally had offered just to pay him for his time directly. And it's like, dude, like, not to be offensive, but there's no amount of money that would make it make sense. So it's just got to be something I want to do. And so, we got together again. I did figure out some ways, and this is a big key just with life, man. I did figure out some ways that I was able to bring him value in his life. Like I literally just like, okay, I can't, money isn't gonna do, so how can I bring you value? This is just the fundamental, when I'm telling y'all, like, man, like, comment, like the biggest thing for a deal maker. If you want to get deals done, if y'all have read books about KKR, their Safeway deal, which was the big thing that put them on the map. It was 3 years that they were going out to the CEO, building a relationship, figuring out how they could help without anything in return. And the guy would just come, no, I don't want to sell. No, get away from that. But they just kept bringing value. And so when I'm saying things like and comment, if you're not willing to do that in a massive way, you're going to be a terrible deal maker. That's just like literally when it comes to psychic RAM. If you don't have that built in of like, okay, how can I bring even me bringing y'all value right now? That has to be natural. And that's something, again, I learned in my 20s, from, it's like, the only way I got my first hospital deal was, bringing a tremendous amount of value, getting all the doctors on my side. It was a bunch of work before you have anything like that. Literally, a deal maker is in the business of doing a bunch of unpaid work, bringing a bunch of unpaid value in the hopes that you'll get a deal, and then being cool with the fact that sometimes you're just not gonna get the deal. And so that was a case where I just built that relationship, and uh, that's brought a great ROI. That's probably better than any business income. Has been some of the things that we've done together. I mean, better than any bit. Like it literally, that's my highest income for 2000, maybe last year too, but yeah, definitely this year. So you got to get into the mode of just, man, how do I bring value? And we live in a time right now where if you do that, you'll stand apart because everybody else is all focused on like, how do I get value? And so just to put a bow on that, what I'm suggesting is direct connections with the people you want to connect with. And I can tell others that may be a good video. I can tell other stuff. I mean, some of you guys have read Pitch Anything. Oren Claff, the guy's done he's just done billions of dollars worth of deals. Wrote a book about doing deals. When I saw that, literally flew out to San Diego, built a relationship with him. He was kind of my second mentor after Mike. Just that's happened over and over, and you're just going to get a better value out of that. So Ernesto, when is the next opportunity to join the next fund? Yes, so private equity fund incubator 6 will be coming up soon. Hit Nori, she'll put you on the list. And we've already got a really great crew. We've already got a really great, group of some folks that have already applied. So hit Nori at financierbank.com. Nori at financierbank.com. And she'll make sure, just let her know, want to be on the list for PEPFI 6. The list for PEPFI 6. Renee P, you caught alive. Speaking of PEPFI, Renee's in PEPFI 4. Thanks for popping in, homie. Thanks, man. I know, and especially in your time zone. What time is it over there? All right, we'll answer this and then we'll bounce out of here. Actually, speaking of connections, I'm in a whole nother country right now, about to connect with some amazing folks. What are your thoughts on trading the financial markets versus acquiring a business? They go hand in hand. So I only, I'm doing a lot. Actually, so yeah, like now is, I'm doing a lot in trading and the traditional stock market, mainly in on the option side of things, and then we're doing a lot with crypto. But I'm not doing that with my money. I don't want to do that with my money. I want to do that with the income from the businesses. And the reason that's so powerful is that there are a lot of reasons it's so powerful. But if you just go down to one simple thing, the number one reason is that even if you're up and down, like even if you lose money, the best long-term strategy is dollar cost averaging. And if you can have a business where a little bit of the money is going into these strategies, number one, even if you lose all the money, you got the income again next month. And so you're able to learn. I'm not a big fan of getting into these spaces if you're not an expert with your own money. You're a lot better off buying a business going to generate the income and then using that income to invest the investment strategies or trading strategies that you want to use. The other benefit to that is that when you do it in your business, well, there are certain strategies that we use that become a part of the business, and if you do it the right way, that actually can become a part of the multiple that you're selling that business at. For if you're doing it the right way and for the right buyer. So there's some cool things there, and yeah, I'm certainly a big fan of the financial markets right now because we're seeing what's happening with inflation and just what's happening in the market overall. We saw Tesla 36 billion more in personal net worth, not just in the net worth of the business, 36 billion more in personal net worth for Elon. I think, Elon is another one of those cases where he's not the smartest person on the planet. There are people that are way smarter than Elon, but what he's gained in all of these years is probably the most impressive psychic realm of any individual on the planet Earth when it comes to generating wealth. Some of that was gained in the trenches in his first business. A lot more was gained in the trenches in PayPal, and the it's just so much, guys. Like there's a lot, and I'm gonna get out of here. But this is a great question to end on from Ruben. I see your response. Nice thing. That makes perfect sense. Thanks. So Ruben asks, Ace, if you're starting over as a 20-year-old deal maker, where would you start looking for deals? So before I even start looking at deals, I would have the right network. And that's where, even the Elon Musk thing is so big, is that with PayPal, if you look at the people, they call it the Silicon Valley Mafia. He got around him. And this is the genius of Elon. He got around him some very talented people, but each of them were talented in their own right. Peter Thiel's multi billionaire. Reid Hoffman, founder of LinkedIn, even though LinkedIn didn't want to let me on the live today, multi-billionaire. And just like you look at these people, and their wealth wasn't generated. None of their wealth, even Elon's, was generated with PayPal. Elon got 180 million and then put it all in his current deals because he had the psychic RAM to be able to see the opportunity. Even with that deal, what people saw was they saw like, oh, this is so risky and and there were ups and downs. But when you've got the psychic RAM and you've got the network around you, in those ups and downs, you're going to be able to manage them. When Tesla's on the brink of bankrupt, you've got the psychic realm to come up with, okay, here's what we can do, here's what we can do, here's option. We're on the 10th of 11 options, but we've got all of these options. And so one of the things that happens is if you can get around the right people, those people are just more important than even this question of like where to look for deals. So I can tell you, go to bizbysale.com and look for deals. But again, this goes to kind of the beginning of this. It's like that trading question of like, okay, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? What's the next thing? And so you still got to grow and build up that psychic RAM. And so you can do that by getting around the smartest people. If I'm 20 years old, one of the greatest things that I did, and this is 98, 99, where it was difficult. There was no Facebook, there was no Instagram. The way I got my very first deal was building relationships online with people who were doing things that I wanted to do. It led to me buying my first business, Wall Street. And so building those relationships, I think, is very, very profitable. Thank y'all for popping on. Certainly appreciate it. Be sure to subscribe. Be sure to like. I'm doing more on my Instagram, so follow ace.chapman on Instagram. If you're interested in going on a journey with some other, just killers and having building an amazing team of folks, that's the other part. Is it's beyond just what I bring to the table. It's having all these other people that are interested in this stuff and are building their own private equity fund, are on the journey with you. Being able to build relationships with them is the other powerful thing. All right. I always have to get to yours just because you're loyal. You always come in, you comment and so I appreciate it. It says, hi Ace, absolutely loved your last video on DeFi. If y'all haven't checked that out, check out that video. Thank you so much. Quick question, what are your thoughts on fractional NFTs? I like fractionalizing them more than I like buying the fractions. You know, there are some winners, but even better to be on on the side of fractionalizing. All right. And yeah, sorry if that was kind of a techie one at the end, but that is a great question. Thank y'all so much. Be sure to subscribe. Be sure to like.